Hi there, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome back to Ms. Johnson's ELA mini lesson. This is mini lesson number 15, and we're going to talk about main idea again because we're doing a new reading. So grab your text and grab your homeschool packet so we can get started. Here we go. So a quick reminder of what a main idea is. A main idea is the most important idea about a topic, about the topic that you're reading on. So it's the big idea and it's the question, what is the text mostly about? So when we're looking at our stool, the main idea is right here. What is the text mostly about? What we have to support the main idea is called small key details, which are the legs that support the stool. So what details, who, what, where, when, how, why, create the main idea. So when we're looking for a main idea, what we're doing is looking at the whole part of a text or a part of a text that we're focusing on and what is it mostly about. So that's kind of our focus of the question, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Here we go. So like I said, we're actually doing a new reading today. So open up your page to, your text to page 22, and we're going to do, again, another picture walk. Another picture walk kind of helps us focus our brains and figure out what we're going to be reading about so we can kind of see if we can identify the main idea before it. So I will show you kind of what I would do when looking at the picture walk. Here we go. All right, so typically when we get the main idea of an entire article or story that we're reading about, typically the first place to look at is the title. So the title is the Tropical Rain Belt. What is this text mostly going to be about? It's going to be about the Tropical Rain Belt, okay? It's adapted from National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA.gov. .gov is a good address because it's the government who created the website in order to give out information. They're a trustworthy source. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to read the directions. So we're obviously going to be reading this new text. We're going to be reading paragraphs 1 through 7 today. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be identifying key details that we read about and then finding the main idea of certain paragraphs. So if you turn to your graphic organizer, this page, we will read the directions. It says, read the tropical rain belt and annotate key details. List the key details and determine the main idea of each paragraph. So this is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to read aloud each of the different paragraph sections. I'm going to have you go write down key details, and then we'll kind of use those key details to create a main idea statement of what the text is mostly about. All right, let's go. So as always, as we're reading, please make sure you are underlining, circling, highlighting, writing in the margins, anything that helps you remember the text and kind of identify those key details, because we are looking for key details in order to create a main idea. All right, we're on paragraphs 1 through 3. Here we go. I see a photograph with a palm tree. And I see some clouds. Ooh, I see some clouds there, and I see some clouds there. We might know a little bit about those clouds. It says the tropics experience both ample sunshine and rainfall. All right, the tropics is the area along the Earth's equator. The weather in the tropics is mostly hot and humid. This is mainly due to the tropics receiving more energy from the sun than other regions. This energy and balance circulates or moves around the air in the Earth's atmosphere. In the tropics, there is an abundant rainfall. This is due to the rising air resulting from the sun's constant heating. During certain periods, thunderstorms can occur every day. Despite this, the tropics still receive a great deal of sunshine. This, combined with heavy rainfall, provides the region with ideal growing conditions. Paragraph 3. Temperatures in the tropics rarely exceed 35 degrees Celsius, 95 degrees Fahrenheit, during the day. At night, the minimum temperatures falls no lower than about 22 degrees Celsius or 72 degrees Fahrenheit. These temperatures vary little throughout the year. Therefore, the seasons are not distinguished by warm and cold periods. Instead, they are distinguished by changes in rainfall and cloudiness. All right, what I would like you to do is go write down 4 key details in your key details graphic organizer for paragraphs 1 through 3. Go do it now. Go. 4 things you learned. Go. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to determine the main idea. What was those 3 paragraphs mostly about? So it was mostly about tropical weather and what it looks like. So tropical weather in the tropical rain belt is rainy, but also hot. That's the main idea. The main idea is about how the tropical rain belt, So for the main idea statement, what I would say on your, so for the main idea statement on your graphic organizer, what I would say is that the tropics is warm, has a warm climate, and it's rainy. A warm and rainy climate. Go. So some of the ways we can look for the main idea is looking at the first sentence, looking at the last sentence, and subheadings. There's no subheadings, so let's look at the first sentence and the last sentence. So the first sentence is, the tropics is the area along the Earth's equator. That might help us identify why the weather is the way it is. On paragraph 3, the last sentence says, instead they are distinguished by changes in rainfall and cloudiness. Doesn't really help us with the main idea. What it's talking about is how the tropics has warm weather, it's pretty hot, and it's also very rainy. That's what we're going to write for the main idea. Go. Okay, now I'm going to read paragraphs 4 and 5. Remember, you're underlining, highlighting, and notating. Here we go. The tropical rain belt appears as a band of clouds. These clouds encircle the globe near the equator. They cause frequent showers and occasional thunderstorms. The solid band of clouds may extend for many hundreds of miles over ocean. It sometimes breaks up over land. Scientists call this rain belt the Intertropical Convergence Zone. ITCZ, and it says pronounce itch. So I'm going to say itch. The itch follows the sun. Therefore, its position varies seasonally. It moves north in the northern summer and south in the southern winter. The itch causes the wet and dry seasons in the tropics. And then there's a photograph, and it says, the solid band of clouds seen here is called the tropical rain belt, also known as the itch. So, I see the itch right here. That's the itch. Good visual to help us with our key details and main idea. Paragraph 5. The itch is caused by the trade winds. The trade winds meet or converge at the equator. In the northern hemisphere, the trade winds move in a southwest direction. In the southern hemisphere, they move in the northeast direction. The point at which the trade winds converge forces the air up the atmosphere. This forms the itch. All right, like we did previously, I want you to go write down 4 key details that you learned about in those 2 paragraphs. Has to do with the itch. Go. All right, so after you've written down the 4 key details, what we're going to do is create a main idea. So we're going to look for the big idea. What is the text mostly about? So what the text is mostly about is it introduces this new concept called the itch. It's called the Intertropical Convergence Zone, pronounced itch. So the main idea of these 2 paragraphs is the Intertropical Convergence Zone, pronounced itch. And it is the clouds that follow the sun. So go ahead and write down the main idea of what we just learned about. Go. So the main idea is the Intertropical Convergence Zone. Itch is the band of clouds that lives in the tropics. All right, and we're going to read paragraphs 6 and 7. So I am on page 24. Here we go. In the tropics, storms tend to be short in duration. They may not last very long, but they can produce intense rainfall. It is estimated that 40% of all tropical rainfall rates exceed 2.5 centimeters, 1 inch per hour. Greatest rainfall occurs when the sun is directly over the equator. This occurs twice a year, in March and September. As a result, there are 2 wet and 2 dry seasons. Farther away from the equator, the 2 rainy seasons merge into one. Here, the climate becomes more monsoonal, with one wet season and one dry season. In the northern hemisphere, the wet season occurs from May to July. In the southern hemisphere, it occurs November to February. Again, what you're going to do is on your graphic organizer, go write down four key details that you just learned in paragraph 6 and 7. Go. Okay, so when we're looking at the main idea, what is the most important part? What is the big idea about? So all those key details lead up to the main idea. So what paragraph 6 and 7 is talking about is the storms that happen in the tropics. So that is what I would write for my main idea. The storms in the tropics are very short in duration, and they don't last very long. They're huge, but they're really short. All right, and the last thing that we're going to do is answer the question on the bottom. This question has 2 parts. First, answer part A, and then answer part B. Part A, which is the best main idea for paragraph 4? You know what I would do? Go reread paragraph 4. So, paragraph 4 says, the tropical rain belt appears as a band of clouds. These clouds encircle the globe near the equator. They cause frequent showers and occasional thunderstorms. The solid band of clouds may exceed for many hundreds of miles over ocean. It sometimes breaks up over land. Scientists call this rain belt the Intertropical Convergence Zone, ITCH, pronounced itch. The itch follows the sun, therefore its position varies seasonally. It moves north in the northern summer and south in the northern winter, and the itch causes the wet and dry seasons of the tropics. So go find the main idea, and then part B says, which details support the main idea? Choose all that apply. Go do that and log it on your homeschool log, please. Please do part A and part B. Good. All right, that is it for ELA mini lesson number 15. Thank you for following along. Hope this helped. Go ahead and log it on your homeschool log, and I will see you soon. Bye. Thank you. Take care.